Welcome back to Sunrise Daily. Well, we'll start off today focusing on the Rivers elections. You might have seen some items in some front pages today. But yes, INEC had released some statements about some of the inconclusive elections, if not all, that was going to be concluded before July. But that of Rivers has a big question mark. We're joined by phone by Aniedi, who is the resident electoral commissioner in Rivers. Good morning. And thank you for joining us. Could you tell us, for those who may not have been following, what exactly informed this rescheduling of the rescheduled elections? Because INEC had released statements previously that they were going to conclude those elections before the end of July.
Well, Chamberlain, you could recall that on March 19 we had fixed and conducted the court-ordered elections in Rivers State, and the election was not conclusive as a result of violence and killing in most parts of the states, and that election was suspended before the dates agreed upon at the stakeholders on that is the 30th of this month. There were consultations by stakeholders and political actors in the states, and certain agreements were reached that there has to be a conducive environment for the conclusion of the elections, and that the commission will review risk, will look at the risk situation, do a risk assessment of the situation to actually conclude the elections. So the dates of the 30th was actually tentative, giving the commission and other stakeholders room to do a risk assessment in Rivers. The 3.5 weeks assessment has shown that there have not been a serious change from the position of the 19th. That the issue of violence, hate speeches, unreconciled tensions, and so on have characterized the weeks prior to the time fixed for the elections. Intimidations and so on. The atmosphere was not different from what we had. And last week, you saw that it was all in the papers that one of our offices was set ablaze. It is the combination of all this that the commission now review, that in as much as the commission is interested in concluding these elections, it must not be concluded on the body or bloods of Nigerians. And having consulted with other stakeholders, the security, civil society, intergovernmental agencies, it comes to the conclusion that there is need for these elections to be shifted for more interaction and consultations. And a lot of Nigerians are now involved in persuading characters in Rivers State to allow peace to reign. And we believe that given some time, that we will achieve this peace and conduct election. Election is not only to set a date and go out there with materials. It involves the participation of the people. When people are intimidated, you cannot say that you are having a conducive and a free and fair election.
All right, we know that, yes, we all want this to be done in a very conducive environment. No life should be lost for the sake of elections. But one like to ask here, is INEC now setting precedents? Because we also do know that there was a lot of threats, there was violence before the last general elections, even in Rivers State. We all saw it on camera, we were live there, some of our reporters were also involved. But the elections were not rescheduled. Why is this one different?
Yes. Yeah, you will agree that this election, this is the third, the 30th days, the third schedule of elections in one particular state. In 2015, COVID-19. Upon the threats that was coming from every angle, we went into that election believing that the people will adhere to appeals made all over the country. But we saw the result on the 19th. That is also a lesson for us, that if the same situation plays itself during this period, we may not have a different result from what we had on the 19th. So, having realized this, I don't think a reasonable organization will want to take that risk of going into something that is very clear that the result would not be different, only for us to come out and think of another rerun, and we will continue a rerun in Rivers State and so on. It is not good for the image of Rivers State. It is not good for the image of the Commission. It is not good for the lives and people of Nigeria. It's not good for the electoral officials, observers, and other stakeholders. So we will want a situation where we can do this election once and for all. And it's very simple that it can be done. It is just the issue of all of us, all stakeholders agreeing, especially the politicians, that we will give peace a chance. Take for example, if they had agreed to give this a chance, how do you go and burn down an office of the Commission a week to the elections? How do we also go to places and begin to continue the same hate speeches that we had before these elections?
You know, this where I'd like to comment. Sorry to cut you there, because this is not the first time you have made effort to see that you have a peaceful election in Rivers State. You've met with the players, the political parties, and they've all given you their words. We've seen them on live television saying that, look, we're all out for peace. But it turns out differently, as you just highlighted. What is it that you have seen that is quite different from previous times that you think that this will definitely come out differently from all other inconclusive ones in that state?
Yeah, we believe that I want to say that the civil society and other stakeholders are not relenting. They are all working day and night to make sure that the election in Rivers State is conducted in a conducive environment. I want to say that we should also give them a chance. Before coming to the conclusion of shifting these elections, consultations were made, and reports also came from agencies and security to now give the Commission the insight of what is happening and what may happen. We believe that there will be more intensive consultations to allow a peace to reign in Rivers State.
So how is this on the Commission? Because this is also about money, if you look at it in the long run. Money is that the Commission should have used for other maybe elections is usually plowed into this rerun in the states. How has it been with funding?
Funding has been a very serious matter in these elections, because the budget for Rivers State election was made in 2015, generally. So that means the election of the 19th, money had to be sourced from somewhere to make that elections. And in this one too, we are also sourcing money from somewhere to try to make the elections. If we fail this time again, it means that we will have to also look at where we can source the money to do the third one. So I think that if we are all looking at it in a comprehensive atmosphere, looking at the funds, looking at the life of the people, looking at the risk, looking at participation, which is one of the cardinals in elections, participation of the people, and so on, that there is need for us to have a little time to actually attain some degree of peace among ourselves and so on.
But again, sorry again to cut you here, but again, you know, the only way we can stop this cycle of reruns is when people are punished Are there people who are before the law court for fomenting trouble? Talking about